Hey everybody, how are you doing? I hope we are chugging along with this Aries season. And today I want to talk about communication and mind reading. So we can get in trouble in our relationships when we expect other people to mind read us, and we fall into the trap of trying to mind read them. And these patterns absolutely come from learned childhood experiences, childhood wounds, ways of communication that you saw growing up, ways that you were expected to communicate growing up. And they can lead, if we don't put them in check, to a lot of resentment, a lot of disappointment, a lot of hurt feelings, and a lot of sense of feeling not being seen, being misattuned to, not getting our needs met, and ultimately it can really erode at the intimacy and the connection in the relationship. And this doesn't apply just to romantic relationships, of course. We can apply this to family relationships, friendships, work relationships, this like fallacy of mind reading. So when we are expecting other people to read our minds, it really often comes from a childhood wound very early on. And this is a wound of having a parent or a primary caregiver who was misattuned to us. So they were not responding to us in an appropriate way, in a fast enough amount of time, in a consistent amount of time, or maybe didn't understand the little nuances. An attuned caregiver can tell, oh, that's a cry of a gassy baby. That's a cry of a hungry baby. Oh, that's a cry of a tired baby. Or maybe we expressed needs, preferences, emotions, and we got a lot of feedback of, that's not what you need, that's not what you want, that's not how you really feel. So we miss this really important experience of being attuned to. And I say that it is perfectly acceptable for especially like an infant to expect their primary caregiver to mind read or to really pick up on the subtle cues and wants and needs of the child. Now, in our adult relationships, it's not appropriate, but we may still be carrying around this unmet need, and we're like looking now to our adult relationships to fill that void, right? That's why we get into relationships. So if you are recognizing that you are quite often disappointed or feeling let down or feeling like your needs are not being met or not being seen, felt, and heard, I want to invite you to ask yourself, am I expecting my partner to mind read? Now, if you're here telling me, oh no, I've told them very clearly and very directly, these are my boundaries, these are my wants and needs, these are my desires, and I'm still not getting my needs met, that is another issue. But so often when clients come to work with me and they are feeling frustrated or not seen or neglected in their relationships, I go, let's like put a pin in this and really examine how effectively you are communicating, if at all, your wants and needs and desires. Okay, so that is a little bit about expecting other people to read our minds. I want to shift into now when we try to read other people's minds. We're maybe anticipating people's needs. We think we know what's best for other people. We may even get pushback or told we're being bossy or crossing boundaries or not respecting someone's needs and feeling like confused, but I don't understand. This is what's best for you, or this is how I want to show you I love you, or, but this is what I thought you wanted. And maybe feeling a lot of bitterness or resentment coming towards us. And we may be stuck in a mind reading trap with our loved ones in this case. And this often comes from a childhood where you were expected to read your caregiver's minds because you had emotionally immature, not attuned, or even narcissistic parents or caregivers, that you had to grow up fast and be the adult. You had to be hypervigilant because there was not a lack of safety or a lack of consistency in the home, and had to be able to always be a step ahead from that hypervigilant place to help yourself feel safe. So this can really impact our adult relationships, especially relationships that we're trying to establish, a sense of like equality, equity, true partnership, where we are not like mothering or fathering or babying our partners or our friends, because that leads to creating friendships that are one-sided, where we ultimately feel like we're being taken advantage of and not getting our needs met. But very early on in our relationships, if we are mind reading or anticipating needs or coming into rescue or doing things for people or that they should be doing for themselves, or excusing behavior, then we are going to set ourselves up for a not very fulfilling, conscious, reciprocal relationship dynamic later on. So just take a pause and see, do I expect other people to read my mind? Am I anticipating people's needs constantly and reading their mind? And how might I just like slow down and use my voice to communicate what I want and need? Or when it comes to other people, to step back and give them the dignity and the space to ask for what they want and need. Or we can even ask for clarity, like, hey, is this what you actually want? Or, hey, I'm gonna do this for you. I just wanna make sure that this is what you were actually asking for before I spend money on this or spend time on this, right? And we can really like nip a lot of issues, a lot of resentment, a lot of hurt feelings and bitterness in the bud when we check mind reading. Okay, I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll talk soon.